neural nets in your brain. Now, we all have what's called neural nets in the brain. I'm going to use this to illustrate what a neural net is. So you have all these little branches of neurons. Now, look at my arm. When I do that movement, there is a neural net in my brain for that movement. Okay? When I do that neural net fires and sends the message to the muscles to contract. When I imagine my mum, okay, I'm imagining my mum's face in my mind's eye. I can see her face there, and there's a part in my brain which stores the memory of the image of my mum's face. And when I was imaging that in my brain, those neurons were lighting up. Now, there are neurons in your brain that haven't fired yet. So, if you've grown up always being told that we don't have enough money, money doesn't grow on trees, we can't afford it, then you'll have a neural net in your brain associated with money. That will have certain emotions to do with money, feelings of lack. There are certain peptides that are released in your brain that are associated with the feelings of being poor. That brings with it its own emotion. But there are other neurons. Now, rich people, they experience a reality of abundance, and they have other neurons in the brain that are firing. Now, everybody's brain, there is nobody that is more special than anyone else. Genius, everyone has the capability of being a genius. Everybody has an innate ability for genius. And I don't say that lightly. This is becoming known in the academic world and is becoming accepted now as the new paradigm. There are so many paradigm shifts. And there are those who don't want to be part of the new paradigm, and that's fine. If you like being a victim and you're unhappy and you don't want anyone else to be happy, then that's fine. I mean, it may be very frustrating for those people watching me now saying that you can be abundant. But this is the reality I choose to live in. And I am the lawgiver in my own reality. I say what is possible. Okay? And I just choose to live my life that way. So, anyway, back to what I was saying. In your brain, the brain has the capacity to facilitate any experience that the imagination can conceive of. So, if you watch my video on how to manifest reality part 2, in that video you'll hear me speak of a video that I wanted to rent that was an 18 certificate and I was 14, and I imagined that the guy behind the counter put the cassette in the case by mistake. So when I imagined that, my imagination brought up the image of a reality that I would like to experience. I am an infinite divine being here in physical form to create with my own unique imagination, my own free will to imagine what I choose to imagine, what I choose to experience. There is no right or wrong. God doesn't judge. It just observes what you're imagining. And if you're in alignment with that, and it just is, not wishing and wanting, not, oh please make me rich because I'm so poor. So it's like you're asking for abundance, but yet at the same time you're affirming that you need it because you don't have it, which will just create more reasons why you don't have it. Just a passing thought. So in my brain, I had neurons in my brain to facilitate the experience of having the cassette tape that I wanted. Okay? So I imagined it. I imagined having the cassette tape, the guy putting it in the cassette by mistake. And I must have been really observing it without judging right or wrong, without wishing and wanting. My brain started to prepare itself for the experience. So the brain was prepared for the experience, but it hadn't showed up in my environment. I went to the video store a few times before it actually happened, before I actually got my hands on the video. Now, if I had been thinking about getting the video, and if I had started saying, oh, it's not happened yet, and it's never going to happen, and oh, why can't I get what I want? That has its own neural net associated with that experience. The experience of frustration, the experience of being at war against the elements has its own neural net. And if you go to that place, you'll have your own experiences of frustration. You may even have certain people in your life that you associate with that feeling. You may meet up with those people and become what Eckhart Tolle calls pain buddies. I think he uses that term, but I think you get the picture. You might chat to those friends and be like, oh, isn't life so crap? And these crazy people talking about the law of attraction, who do they think they are, thinking that life is so easy? Oh yeah, I can't stand those people too, going on about the blooming law of attraction, and you can get things by the click of your fingers. Yeah, so if you go to that place, that's where you'll be, and then your thoughts and actions will come from that place. Now, because it was just a passing thought, my brain had prepared it to hold this thing up for years, but it's a visual aid for years. So my brain had prepared itself for the experience, and it was just a matter of time before it showed up in physicality, in the physical dimension. So things can, it didn't mean that it wasn't a reality. It was a reality. Everything you can imagine is a reality in the quantum field. There ain't no limit to this whole thing. Look how vast the size of the universe is. You can't even begin to comprehend its size. There's no limit to what you can achieve. Okay, I'm going off on a tangent and I don't want to. Stay with this. Okay, so where was I? It was a potential. Everything that you can imagine, it does exist in the quantum field. Okay? And it wants you to experience what it is that you want. So it has to come down levels, and that takes time. Okay? it may take time for it to show up in your physical reality, or maybe that's because we think it should take time. Anyway, point being, it was a reality. My brain had prepared itself for the experience. It just had yet to show up in the physical realm. And sure enough, 3 or 4 weeks later, it showed up. I went to the video store, rented a video. He'd put the video I wanted into the cassette holder by mistake. So that's why they say, when you want to create something, it's like a seed. You plant a seed in the soil and you focus on creating it, and it's just about to break through, and you think, oh, it's not showing up, this stuff doesn't work, it's all a load of baloney nonsense and I don't want anything to do with it anymore, and you go back to being a victim. And then what happens to that neural net? It atrophies. It's no longer there. Okay? What you don't use, you lose. They did experiments where you bend your arm. They put people's arm in a cask to see what would happen with the neural net. And sure enough, when people weren't able to bend their elbow anymore, the neural net atrophied. Okay, so I'm going to be going into more depth in this series. It's going to be a series about the neural net and quantum physics. And for more information on this, go to the website. I'm going to be putting up links and stuff for those who really want to know, can go deeper into this, and you can go and check that out on my website. Thanks for listening. I hope you guys got something out of that, and I'll catch you on the next video. Peace.